I'm not saying it is impossible that someone can plant a church by themselves. I'm not saying like that. But I'm saying, yes, usually it begins with a team, right? The successful church planning usually looks like that. So we talked about that. Um, and today, um, we wanted to just spend some time on developing evangelistic small group, right? Evangelistic small group. Um, any any church plan, if this has to be successful, we wanted to have small groups, right? Oftentimes we gather together for small groups. Small groups are for Bible study, right? That's what we might think. But I'm saying small groups are not really simply to study Bible, but rather it is the place where we can invite other people, we can invite and have Bible study, but that study that connects to the gospel, right? I always desire that we have Bible studies, that if at all we have Bible studies where we can invite unbelievers, and and of course, whatever may be the topic that we are studying, we can still introduce the gospel in that. So you can reach unchurched through evangelistic small groups. Most churches have variety of small groups like Bible studies, Sunday school classes, youth groups, fellowship of one sort of another, right? You have, these are all aimed at reaching other generation. Most of these focus on people who are already believers and will seldom attract unbelievers. Well, that is the one of the weaknesses of it, right? Many of these things are focused on what? Maybe already believers. But what we wanted to have evangelistic small group. If you are going to plant churches, keep in your mind, this is the most important thing. It is made up primarily of unchurched people, right? If we can have unchurched people able to gather together, then this is going to be a best method. I think this is the best method, that ability to have small 3 or 4 people, right? Ability to gather 3 or 4 people where you can spend some time in reaching them. In order to reach the unchurched, you need to understand who they are, what they value, how they think, and how they differ from one another, right? So if you wanted to reach the unchurched, what you should do, you should know them. One of the greatest mistakes planters make is that the unchurched have similar values, beliefs, and preferences to their own, right? So that may be a problem that we might face, right? We might think that everybody is same. Everybody is not same, right? Not same. They are different. Unchurched people fall into 5 basic categories, right? 5 type of unchurched people. Number 1, highly antagonistic. We see that a lot of them right here in our country, right? They are against Christians. They are against missionaries. They are against any type of pastors, evangelistic, right? Any. So that is, so we call U5, if you can say, U5 is highly antagonistic. Then what is the next group? The next group is that those who are resistant to the gospel. They're not antagonistic. They don't look at you as enemies, right? They don't look at you. They're not your enemies, but they are resistant to the gospel. They're not interested in your gospel, right? We call them U4, unchurched the fourth group. They may believe in God, they may believe in heaven or hell, maybe they may believe Bible, or they may believe something else. And maybe they pray at times, they call themselves as Christians, open to invitation, right? Maybe they're ready to come. That is what called as U4. Then we have the third group known as simply neutral, right? Maybe there are not in our country, but many other countries, you have this neutral people, right? Maybe today, I'm saying today, the college going graduates or college going students, those who completed the graduates or postgraduates, yes, that is, these youngsters are kind of neutral. Largest group, open to discussion of the gospel. They're not grew up in churches, but they heard about Christianity much, right? Then there are people open to the gospel. What is that? Very rare, I would say, very rare. They are willing to listen, willing to listen, looking for answers, willing to learn. Maybe they accept Bible as maybe the thing, but they have not really been engaged, right? So they are called as U2. Then there are highly receptive, that is people who have Bible background, but still they have not committed to Christ. Maybe this is, I would say, the U1. They are grown up in a church. They can pray, then they have come to the church, but they are not really committed themselves, right? So these are the categories that usually we see. But in our country, majority of them are like U5 or U4, against, see us as enemies, or they are against the gospel, most of them, right? That is so before you start, establish some ground rules. Before you have this more outreach groups, evangelistic group studies. More than two of our church people may attend an evangelistic small group meeting, right? And so you can bring whatever may be the number of people you wanted to, and right, determine that your groups will be open. Anyone within the group is welcome to invite others to come and visit. So what we wanted to have maybe a 1 hour study somewhere where if we can have unchurched people along with you, right? Some believers, some unbelievers. Not everyone unbelievers, some believers, right? And the study that can go for about 8 to 12 weeks, right? That is what evangelistic small groups. I think recently this approach is getting more attention in church planting ministry, right? Use right approaches when inviting people to evangelistic small group, right? Try to identify number of people who are interested, right? Number of people who are interested to come. Identify them, started to pray for them, right? Started to pray for them. And earn the right to invite by building bridges to trust the unchurched, right? So here is the thing. This is not, so the method that we are talking about is not introducing the gospel in just one setup. Go introduce the gospel, go and share the gospel. No, I'm actually not favor of that type of ministry, right? It's okay. No, I'm not against, but I don't think that most of the people are really receptive to that kind of ministry. I think it is always establish a bridge relationship. So it may be best for people like maybe the coworkers, right? In the place where you work, there are a few coworkers that you can easily connect and maybe talk to them. Can we have some kind of studies, or maybe a neighborhood, maybe in an area where we can go and gather together some people and have evangelistic studies, right? Evangelistic studies, and have some believers answer the question, discuss, right? So, but it doesn't happen without establishing a relationship. The rule of thumb is this: if a recipient is unable to accept the messenger, it is difficult for them to accept the message, right? If the recipient is unable to establish a relationship, because when a foreigner, I mean, someone foreign, someone stranger shares something, it doesn't have much weight, because they just simply hear and go. So that is the major problem we see. So earn the right by making bridges. Ask the person face to face rather than over the phone or through mail. Go to their home, talk to them, right? You be friendly, warm, maybe invite them to your house, right? Invite people to your house. We want people to come to your house. We want you to invite people to your house, maybe share a meal and sit some time and talk about them, and maybe ask them that we have something like, some people say, no, they're not interested in the gospel. Maybe 90% is going to say they're not interested in this. But maybe here or there could be one or two who is interested. Um, Avoid saying no for people when you invite them to your evangelistic small group, right? Uh, so, like, you probably wouldn't be interested in coming over to my house with some of other folks, would you? All right. Are you coming? No, I'm not coming. But, I'm sorry that suddenly the internet was cut off, but glad that it is back again. All right. So the point is, try to don't ask, hey, are you coming? Um, um, so most of the people say, no, we are not coming, or they can easily come up with some excuses. So maybe ask little tactically, where they will not be simply saying no, right? And make sure that you talk them thoroughly, that this is a place where, that they don't have to be afraid. We are not here to convert anyone. Rather, we want to discuss some matters that are very important for our life, right? And maybe always give a disclaimer: come just one time and check it out. And if it is not for you, you have no obligation to ever come back, right? So that kind of things. Be specific about what you are inviting them to attend, right? Explain the group will consist of this many people. What are we going to do? We are going to discuss some spiritual issues, right? Yes. So those kind of things are to be said. Ask for yes or no response. Okay, are you able to come? This is what we are going to do. Some time of a spiritual discussion, right? And follow with each person you invite, including those who declined your invitation, right? Maybe you can talk to them again, right? Talk to them again. So what I would say is to invite them, but you pray for them. You make a list, pray for them, right? So do your best to confirm your friend's response to your invitation by contacting them a couple of days before the meeting, right? So that there can be this type of studies, right? Evangelistic small group is one of the best way to begin a church plant, right? Not simply Bible study, not simply theological studies, no, rather just talking about spiritual issues. So that is known as evangelistic Bible study, where we are studying the gospel, right? Studying the gospel and its implication on life. All right. It's not an easy one, but it kind of will have it. All right. So what we will do, we will take a break right now. The rest of the things we will discuss in the next class.